here, guys. I'm going to put this camera right here so I can focus on driving. But yeah, just on my way to Nationals 2023. Beautiful sunset, climbing through the mountains here in Pennsylvania, and cold front just came through. It's beautiful now. So very thankful for the situation I find myself in. Leaving my wonderful family for a week, which is not why I'm thankful, but I'm thankful that they are there and that I have them. And thankful that I can find the time off. Job's going through some things right now, but I'm still very thankful for my career and the fact that I can even race cars right now. Things are good. Got to be grateful for those moments when things are good. So what brings me to this video is, while I'm driving, I should not be racing this year because my car is out of service. I've got a 2022 GR86. It's white. I finished 11th last year at Nationals, and that was my best finish. And this year I was trying to really do those events that would get me into the pro finale and maybe have a chance at repeating the performance I had last year, or maybe even a little bit better. Top 10 would have been awesome. I don't think that's going to happen this year for a number of reasons, but either way, that was my goal, and that's what I was working towards this year.
Police reported ahead.
At Spring Nats, I had some bad luck. I hit some cones and it took out my radiator, so I was able to get that fixed on site using some MacGyvering with a Subaru Forester radiator, and made it happen. Had some autocrossers who were very helpful. Guy lets me borrow his competition BMW M2 to go run errands, to go to AutoZone. I went to like 6 different AutoZones to try to get a radiator that would fit. I could jerry rig it into my car because it was Memorial Day and everything was closed, and I needed to get back from Nebraska home to Maryland. So it happened. All that happened, and left me feeling inspired. Cleveland. On day 2, Alex Peel was frustrated with his car. He's always frustrated, right? We know Alex anyway. But he was very frustrated, and it turned out that, I suggested that, maybe your 700 run tires, Alex, maybe they're going off. I don't know. So I let him borrow my second set, and it proved to be, that's what it was, because he picked up a whole lot of time, and he felt kind of, re-inspired that, hey, it's not his driving, it's not his setup, it's really just his tires. They don't usually run about 700 runs, sometimes at some point you have to replace them, but anyway. So James Yam did better as well, but he coned all of his runs, so he didn't improve. But either way, Alex said thanks to me. Then fast forward like a couple weeks later, we're at Finger Lakes, and after day 1, on the way home to the Airbnb, the temperature had dropped a bunch. It was raining out, like heavy rain, torrential rain. And I unfortunately had a situation with my car such that it was not going to make Nationals. So I was, disappointed. It seemed like everybody already had co-drivers, and it was too close to Nationals. And I think it was like 35 days out of Nationals. So I was like, it's never going to happen. So I just, whatever. I told some people what happened, and I told them what had happened, and Alex Peel said, hey, I know a guy who I might be able to put something together. It's like Alex Peel is like matches made in heaven, you know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm married now, but it sounded good. So Alex suggested that maybe I'd reach out to a guy named Brayden Knickerbocker, who I did not know, although I had competed against him at Finger Lakes at the end of day 1 in Finger Lakes. Brayden was virtually tied with me. It was was like less than a tenth. And yeah, he was ahead of me, but whatever. We'll just ignore that. We'll just say we're basically tied. But the thing was, I had never met him myself. Brayden got to his speed on day one through clear merit. His car was underprepared, stock shocks, and I think he had the wrong car subs sway bar. There's three different car subs bars. He had the wrong one. So I, in contrast, had a really well set up car. Had been proven pretty well the previous year. So MCS two-way remotes, the proper car sub sway bar, and a whole lot of testing and tuning done in my car. So I mean, I was, not as fast as I probably should have been. But either way, Alex suggested maybe you guys can make a match made in heaven. Take Brayden's car, put your parts on it, and you guys co-drive. So I said, yeah, that sounds like it could be good. I didn't know this guy Brayden, though. Who was this guy, right? So I reach out to him, and a whole lot of mutual friends, Alex, and, Jill, and, Eric Simmons, and a lot of other people. So I felt like, man, he's got to be a good dude. I did some references, some research and stuff, and everyone's like, yeah, this guy's awesome. He's fast. I was like, oh, okay, all right, so cool. So I reached out to Brayden, and Brayden says, yeah, like, we can do this. So I drove 3.5 hours from Maryland up to Northeast Pennsylvania, and met him for the first time. I'm installing these parts on his car in his garage, and we're talking, we're getting to know each other, and I'm like, yeah, this guy is cool, man. Like, he's young, he's like 21 or 22, he's like a Gen Zer. He uses words like no cap and say less and all that stuff, which is cool because I understand it, but still, it's like, I'm a Gen Zer, right? I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm like, whatever, I could be this kid's dad probably. And but anyway, so we're talking, and I'm learning about him. And this is what I wanted to share with the fellow autocrossers. So Brayden, I think this is his second year autocrossing, and he started off in RC cars, very much like Brian Carwin, I believe, also started in RC cars. I started in RC model airplanes before I became a professional airline pilot. Started going down that path. So I know that there is definitely something to be said about the radio control stuff. And he was really good at it, apparently. And then he's into sims and stuff. Gran Turismo. I guess a lot of you guys are into that. I'm into iRacing. But anyway, he's apparently pretty decent at Gran Turismo. And then he's also really good at go-karting. So his dad got him into go-karting, and Brayden was the little kid who was like, yeah, well, we don't have enough people to make the heat, so we'll just put the kid in there, he'll just, whatever. But the thing is, the kid started beating all the adults, and some of the adults were getting a little bit salty, which is so cute. I remember doing that, me and a lot of our buddies 10 years ago, when we were bringing our Hondas and Mazdas up to some of the Porsche events, and we beat all the Porsche guys, and they would get salty and just angry and upset, and it was just so much it was kind of rewarding, to be honest with you. So I totally got it when he talked about his experience with the go-karting and how he was doing really well, and then they stopped inviting him to go even though he's a kid. Anyway, that was awesome. Good stories there. And then that was his dad's side, and then his mom comes down to bring us a sandwich, which they call hoagies up there in Pennsylvania, Northeast Pennsylvania. So they're really good, of course. So I'm having this really tasty sandwich, and I'm listening to his mom telling me that all of his speed comes from her side. She's like, yeah, the way the chromosomes worked or whatever, it's 100% his mom's DNA that is responsible for Brayden being fast. So she said, if he does well, make sure that she gets a shout out. So that should be noted. But in the end, we got the parts on his car, did it as soon as I could so we could have 2 events on the car, and he liked it. He definitely liked it. In fact, I've heard that Alex Peel is a little bit nervous because now that Brayden's got a competitive car, that the Alex Peel is nervous about Brayden. So we'll see how he does. We'll see how this young kid does. I'm going to certainly do my best to kind of get the car perfectly set up for him, and I've got Solo Storm hooked up to his car now, and we'll do the best we can to get this kid a good finish if he doesn't hit cones. But the main thing I wanted to take away from this is that these are the instances, the examples that we racers, our fellow friends, our fellow competitors, show who they are. You know, they show who they are, and it speaks to who we are as an organization, as autocrossers, as people, and it makes me certainly want to be part of this group. I'm so happy that I am, and I see why I've been part of this group for a long time, meaning SCCA. My former class, which I spent the most time in, was STR from the very beginning of STR, and that class is a perfect example of how it should be. We had James Yam and Jonathan Lugod and Ken Modnishi, Brian Peters, Brian Carwan, Shane Chinon Brayden, Justin Neal, you know, all these really, really fast drivers who were also like really just outstanding people, you know, and it was not uncommon to, you know, have people help you out, you know, even at the highest levels of competing, because that's just who they were. They were all about, let's share ideas and thoughts, even though we're competitors competing against each other, because we all bring up the sport, you know, through our camaraderie. And I've seen that in STR 1,000 times over. And I'm starting to see it in D Street as well. Last year, Mark Daddio and I went back and forth with setup information, and it's just you know, he's the spirit of the sport. If any, I mean, he got the award last year for no, you know, no surprise there. But you know, there are others too. You know, Kenny Roller has been another person who's right up there this year, and he has been very, you know, open and, you know, sharing and, you know, encouraging, etc. And you know, these are the things that make me really feel like D Street has a lot of potential to be one of those best classes in the sport. We have 80 drivers, I believe, this year, the biggest class, and you know, these are the things that make me realize why I'm driving halfway across the country to hang with these people, you know, and to compete against them. So I just wanted to thank you all for you know, what we have, and hope that it goes really well this year. It should be really hot and dry. I'm very sure I will do worse this year than I did last year, just because everybody's starting to get the setup down, and I think the setup helped me last year. But no matter what happens, I feel like I already won this year, because